My name's Ashley Harris. I work with the Education and Research Group at Esri Canada. I'm joined by my colleague Haley Conway. Today I will discuss and demonstrate to you the use of ArcGIS Online in school board administration. We'll start with a primer on ArcGIS Online. So what is it? Make sure everyone's on the same page and lead into the specific use cases for creating school locators. Starting with our brief introduction, as I said, I work with the education industry at Esri Canada, and our group is tasked with supporting the use of Esri software not only in school board administration, but also in higher education with research and in K-12 in teaching and learning. In fact, I would anticipate that a lot of you would know some teachers in your school board who are using ArcGIS Online in their class or are very keen on using ArcGIS Online. They also might be looking for some support. And here I'm going to take a little tangent and urge everyone to learn more about how your school board is supporting GIS in your K-12 education, and its presence is growing exponentially, and the support from your community and from GIS professionals like yourself is essential. So what is ArcGIS Online? Well, it's as well as a great teaching tool in education, it's quite versatile and used by GIS professionals around the world in a number of industries. And ArcGIS Online is an online collaborative web GIS, and it's full of content. And that content allows you to use, create, and share maps, 3D scenes, applications, layers of GIS data, do analytics, perform analysis, and share your data as well. And you can do this by getting access to also ready-to-use maps and apps that are stored in ArcGIS Online, which is in Esri's secure cloud. And you can add items and publish web layers, whether they be just internally for stakeholders or externally to the public. ArcGIS Online is available on its own to license, or if you have a desktop license, it's good to know that ArcGIS Online is included with all current desktop maintenance. If you need help figuring out how to access ArcGIS Online, please, again, feel free to email me. So let's now explore how ArcGIS Online is used in school board administration. From my work with school boards across Canada, I've learned a bit about your job and responsibilities, specifically where it relates to GIS. And I've taken my stab at categorizing some of these applications of GIS into specific use cases. So they are student transportation. This is which students are assigned to which bus, where is their bus stop, mapping that and making that information available to everyone. Another is mapping education outcomes or programs, so school achievement and how location might have an effect on school achievement, where to offer specialized programs based on demand or demographics or another type of spatial component. Facilities management is a big one, and we work with partners to offer a complete and robust solution here. And this is primarily to streamline, as an example, management and visualization of assets, but also to help increase the efficient use of school facilities. Perhaps maybe part of facility management, depending on your school board, is student planning and student allocation to schools. And that covers questions like which students go to which school, school boundary identification or augmentation year over year. A big part of this is communication to residents. And this segues nicely into why we are here today, which is to talk about creating a school locator. Let's start by just taking a look at the different approaches that have been done in creating school locators in ArcGIS Online. At a starting point, we can add school locations on a map, include school catchment boundaries, and embed this map into your website. Here you'll have more of a self-service lookup for residents that can find their address, either zoom into it or put in their address, and then visually see where their address fits into the school boundaries, what school is located near them, and so forth. Another approach here, done by Newfoundland's English School District, is to take that data and make the user experience a little richer. And this is done by using any one of our numerous web app templates that are available for free in ArcGIS Online. Here, the data is also a little more intuitive for the user because it includes the list of schools within the catchment boundary, within the pop-up. Lastly, this is an example of using a web app builder. And a web app builder adds a little more functionality to your map because you can add widgets, which are ready-to-use web services. And in this instance, there is a school lookup widget that highlights the school, provides information right in the app about that school, and it also provides directions. So I've presented these 3 examples, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror these examples in my demonstration today. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to add data into your map and include tips about the many ways that you can add data into ArcGIS Online and configure that data. And then we're going to move into the second part, which is showing you how to enhance that map within a web app. And finally, I'm going to use the School Locator web template application that has been made specifically by Esri for school boards. And this is done using a web app builder. So I'm going to just toggle over to my demonstration site. What you're seeing now is the home page of ArcGIS Online. I've already signed in. And I'm using this subscription for demonstrations in school board administration. So what I have here is I've gathered some examples around Canada and around the US, actually, around the world, of people that are using ArcGIS Online in school board administration. I'm not going to go in a deep dive about touring around ArcGIS Online. That's outside of our scope for today. We will be offering more WebEx opportunities in the future to do that. But today I'm just going to send you on a very quick trip of what we're going to be using today, and that's the map and the My Content within the subscription. We open up our map. This is kind of the heart and soul of an ArcGIS Online, of ArcGIS in general. And here what we're looking at, if we start a new map, you'll see that we have some guided tours that are great for the novice, the rookie, wants to get a tour, an idea of how the system works. We can create data, add data, change base maps, perform analysis, save and share our map, which leads us into the My Content space. As soon as you share a map, save a map, it saves into your content. And here's some of the content that I've made that we're going to demonstrate today. I've put it into some buckets over here just to organize my information a little better as well. So I'm going to go back to my home page. And what I'm going to do first, like I said, is I'm going to add data. So there are a few ways you can add data in ArcGIS Online. I'm going to do that in this instance just by going to my map and adding data. I can also do it from the My Content space. And what we're going to do is I'm going to add data. I'm going to add schools. And I'm going to add school boundaries as well. So the first thing I want to show you is that you can add boundary information from your computer, from the web, or information and layers that are already in ArcGIS Online. I'm going to add this layer from a file. So I know that I have a shape file of school catchment boundaries. So I'll browse to that in my computer. And you'll see what I've done here. These are, if you're familiar with shapefiles, there are many files that constitute one shapefile, and I've zipped it up into a zip file, and here it tells you exactly how to do that. And I import layer. Great, so the first thing it asks me to do is ask me how I want to symbolize this data. I'm just going to say to symbolize based on the attribute values here. I can also choose just to symbolize based on no field, where they're all is one.
Okay, you just are in the wrong.
There we go. There we go. Let's zoom to that data. And this is data that I have been given from the School Board 23 in Central Okanagan. So I want to thank them for helping us out today. And there's a few things you can do here. You can change the look and feel of your data. So you can change it, the symbology. Maybe there's no fill, just an outline. Click OK there. Make it a little more readable. So the second thing I want to show you is how to add our schools. Schools are point data, and in my instance I have that in an Excel spreadsheet. So again, these are schools in the central Okanagan area. We have the facility number, some attributes, name, address, and some other attributes of that data. But I want to make sure and point out to you that this address information is in this data, and we're going to use that to essentially drag and drop this data into ArcGIS Online. So I'll find my schools data, and here it is here. And ArcGIS Online will use that to, we're going to say, use the address field. We're going to align that address field just to tell it where to look, and it will add our layer. Here we go. So that was about 3 minutes. I've added our school board boundaries and our schools to our map, and we have a little bit of configuration that we can do as well. There we go. So in our schools, let's do some location symbology, and do it by, we can use that current use field because it gave us information on the type of use by the school. Click done. This looks pretty good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just do a little sidebar. If anyone is an ArcGIS Online user, you can also, and this data is already in an ArcGIS desktop system or in a desktop format, you can take this data that's in ArcGIS, and ArcGIS is synced with ArcGIS Online. It's just thinking here. You can see here I'm signed in. So I'm signed into my school board admin account. And what I would do is I would just click share, and we'll share it as a service, and this creates a feature service in ArcGIS Online. You can see here it's choosing what kind of server do you want to use. ArcGIS Online is acting as our server here, and our school service name. So I'm not going to continue with this right now, but if we did this, it would create a feature layer in ArcGIS Online. But we already have that data in ArcGIS Online. It's right here. So what I'm going to do now is configure some pop-ups. In the layer, almost like a layer properties, we can configure the pop-up, and a pop-up is great because it's a viewer's or a user's access into the data. So we can determine exactly how we want this data to be shown. So this is our school pop-up information. So the first thing I wanted to show in a title, for example, is the name. So I'm going to pull this information right from the attribute data. And then we can also display there, a description from one field, or a list of attributes, and you can configure those attributes. You can change an alias name. You can turn fields on and off. Okay. For an example here, I can do also a custom display and configure it. So here I'm just going to quickly write a custom display that also includes your field attribute information. So this one will say your child is attending facility name, school, period. Click OK. So that's some attribute information. I'm also going to add, I know that in my data I have the ability to bring in images that it's within the attributes. So the URL, I click to it. And I also want to include a website link. So, and this is all in the Excel spreadsheet. I click OK. So now when I zoom in, for example, and click on one of these schools, here we have that sentence that I wrote, and it's populating this specific value within the facility name field. the image here, and if I click on the image, it's going to open up another field, another tab, and this is the link that I had included for Kelowna Secondary. So that's a little bit about configuring your data so that it's a more user-friendly view of what information you want to show. I've spent a couple minutes doing this with the same data, and I'm going to open that map now to show you. So you can see I've changed the background. I can change the base map back to any of these options. I've also changed my school districts is just a transparency here. Okay, I'll put it back on just so you can see that. And in this pop-up, I've brought in a little more data on that's included in the attributes. So again, I wrote that sentence, but I also included the address, information about the capacity of the school, and a link here to the Kelowna Secondary School website and the image as well. So that's one way to add data and configure your data in ArcGIS Online. Now this is great. You have your map. You want to make sure people have access to this map, and the easiest way to do that is just embedding it into your website. So I'm going to click save here. I'm going to save this map. I'm going to share this map so that when I do embed it into my website, people can see it. I have a link to this map, but I can also here in this embed in website. And this gives me information on how I want to interpret the look and feel of my map in my website. This is an iframe HTML code. And here's some items, map options that I can add to my base map. Add to my map. I can change the symbol when people search. So I can do a little bit of customization here. I'm going to then copy that iframe information and show you as an example. Let's close this. As an example, in the Central Okanagan School District, they have an area for their catchment area maps. And I'm going to use a little tool here I have to demonstrate how to incorporate your map. So here what I've done is shown you how to add data to your map, configure your map, and then using HTML, embed that map into your website. And here this map performs the same way that it would in ArcGIS Online. I can click on the map to get more information about the point, and it shows that same pop-up of information. I can also click on the information for the elementary school catchment area. So that's how you embed a map, create a map, and embed a map into your website. The second part of what I'm going to show you is I'm going to go back to my school locator map, and I'm going to share this map. So the first thing we did was we embedded a map, but now I want to show you how you can create that map into a application that has its own site and you link to it in your website. So in Share, what you can see here is there's another link, as well as embedding in the website, we can create a web app. There are many web application templates to choose from, and it might be daunting at first to go over all of them, but I do encourage you to spend time to look around and see what one fits for your solution. For my purposes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just a basic viewer of how this process works. So even the templates here are highly customizable. I'm going to click to create that. I'm going to do a quick title here. It's a tongue twister. So even though it's a web app template, it is still highly customizable. There are a lot of options to change here. Color, theme, you can put a splash screen if there's any instructions you want to give to the user. Accessibility toolbar. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to save right out of the gate, not change anything. I'm going to go back to my homepage because I'm going to show you how you find this information. So if I go back to my content space in ArcGIS Online, I'll show you we have just created this school locator web app map. And I can open this map. I can change the item details, or I can view the application. So here we are. Instead of having your map embedded into your website, you can create a link from your website to its own hosted location. And here again, this map will act the same, except in this case, it has a little more functionality for the user. They can change the base map. They can toggle around with the layers to get more information about the map. So I'll close that and go back to my map. So to summarize, I've shown you two options to embed a school locator. The last option I want to demonstrate is using the school locator web application template. And this was made by our Esri team in the States to help our users create a more customized school locator. So further information on this school locator application template can be found on the web, and I'm going to go to that now just to show you. So this is made by the ArcGIS for Local Government team. It's a template, so what you get is you download all the information and data, whether it be database with the data schema in it, but also images for your application and instructions on your data and how to set it up. Here's an example of how this application works. Now this is using data that they have just to try it. And what the user would do is they could enter an address or click on the map if they can scroll to their location, say I live here. And here it gives them elementary school boundary and the school that they would attend, the middle school boundary and the school they would attend, and the high school boundary and the school they would attend. And this information here is actually brought from that pop-up that I showed you. And we can also get directions. So this is where you add a little more functionality into your map. So it's not just a visualization, it's actually informative to the user. I'll close that for now. In the School Locator web application, it has a Get Started section, which is an overview, almost like a tutorial of how to use it. And when I went about to create this, I followed these exact instructions. So the first thing they ask you to do is to publish your services. Well, we've already done that. So publishing your services is just getting your data published and hosted into ArcGIS Online. So we've done that. We create a map now. Okay, we have the data in our map, we've saved our map, we've also shared our map to everyone to make sure that people outside of ArcGIS Online subscription can see it. So the next thing we're going to do is configure our application. And that's using a web app builder. So for the next part of our demo, I'm going to go over these steps to create our app. So if I go to my content space, I'm going to open that school locator map that we've been working with. Open that up in our map viewer. And I'm going to go the same process. I'm going to share this map and create a web app. You'll see up here on the top, instead of clicking on a configurable app that we did previously, I'm going to use Web App Builder. And these are instructions that are in the School Locator template. I can change the title here, so let's go School Locator for School District 23. We'll get started. So the first thing we can do here is we can configure every single little section of our web application. Whether it's the look and feel, I'm going to choose this plateau theme. We can change some images, some colors. We've already selected the map because we've created the application from the map, so we don't need to reselect that. And now we get into the widgets. So this is telling you what widgets are already available in the map. Right? We can turn others on and off as needed. I can also set other widgets that are available up here in the top right hand corner. And I'm going to add a new one, and this new one is the district lookup. This is that widget that will know in your location what catchment area you're in, and then associate that catchment to your point file, which is your schools. I'll do a quick update here to make it more applicable to school lookup. Change the widget icon. And this icon was given to us in that template that I said you could download for free. And this is us telling the widget, okay, well, what data am I going to use to create this relationship? And here's the direction settings. So what routing service am I going to use? And I've already added this routing service to my ArcGIS Online subscription. So I'm going to choose it, click Next, tell it that I only really need North America, and click OK. And of course, we're in Canada, so I'm going to Canadianize this. So now we've updated the district lookup into a school lookup. And a few other little things I can do here for look and feel. I can change, this is the name I gave it, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to make a school locator, and then there we go. I can also change the branding of it and include my own logo. So I have their logo here handy. If I wanted to, I can include the link to the website. I'm going to save this application and launch the application. So let's test it out. Here's our school lookup where I can look up an address. I'm going to use it by searching an address, and then I'll use it by clicking on the map as well. So it's found my address, and it's brought up the elementary school that my address is located in. And here is the pop-up information that we had included. I can select, okay, well, tell me where my secondary school boundary is. And here again is that pop-up information with an image and the link. And if we go back and use our directions tool, perfect. So this is telling me that it's about a 1.3 kilometer distance between this house and the elementary school. I can click the home button to go back to full screen. Now, if I wanted to edit or change the look and feel of this map, I don't have to redo my application. If I want to change the look and feel of the map or the data in the map, say a school board boundary changes or a school is added, what I would do is I would go to my content space and I just have to edit the map. I don't have to edit the app. And I'll show how this is done. I can go into my school locator map. And there's two things I'll change here as an example. I really want my data to pop out, so I'm going to change the base map to a light gray because I want my school locations to pop out. And in that same vein, I want to make the boundaries of the catchments less visible because they're not as important to the map because they get selected once you put an address in. So we've done those few things. I'll save my map. If I go now to my app and I reload, it now saves my app with the new map. Okay. We are again in Kelowna and the directions. Great, so I'm going to go back to my presentation now and we'll summarize what we've done and what we've covered today. So ArcGIS Online is a content management system. It is a secure cloud that you can use to create and share your maps, your data, your apps, and it's a solution that's appropriate to student transportation, education outcome analysis, student allocation, and school facility planning. In my demonstration, I showed you how to add data in multiple different ways, create a map, and then embed that map in a website or publish and configure a web app. And lastly, I showed you how to use that school locator web application template to create a more customized user experience. So I hope we got all the information in for everyone. If there's any further follow-up questions you have, please email them to me. I want to thank you and have a good day.